All right, you guys, we're live. IOPPS goes live, episode 17. And I'm hanging out with Jordyn Burnouf. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Jordyn Burnouf, and she is from the north, all the way from the north, up
The
north,
north.
way up there. So anyway, I'm going to introduce her, to chat with her tonight. Possibly might be doing a call-in tonight. I don't know. We'll just see where this convo goes. So take it away there, Ms. Burnouf.
Okay, concept. Yeah, I am Jordyn Burnouf. I grew up in Isle Cross, and I'm a member of Black Lake First Nation. So even a little further up north. I've never lived there though, but I've visited a few times. And yeah, right now I'm just 20 minutes outside of Isle Cross at my parents' cabin, kind of where I really grew up. Spent a lot of time here with my grandparents and my fam. So yeah, and I think I'd like to talk about a few things, but yeah, you guide the convo. But I'm working on a few different things right now that are really cool. I'd love people to know.
Like
about.
what? Like what?
Like what? Well,
you should actually get your sister to tag or share this video right now. I just kind of shared it on my wall, but anyway.
Sister, okay.
Go ahead, chat. Tell us what you want to know, because you're quite the interesting individual. You've done a lot in your young life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right now, I'm working on an energy efficiency project in Isle Cross. So we're applying for funding to.
What is what do you do in this energy efficiency? So when you tell people what you're doing, or just well, they obviously don't have no idea, right? You know what I mean? When you say energy efficiency, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to propane? What does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? You're living on, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I will hear exactly what it is.
So, when you do an energy efficiency project, what that is like essentially your community exists how it does, whether it's like on the grid or off the grid. So maybe your community's like running off a diesel generator, or you're connected to the grid, and that's where your power source comes from. What we're trying to do with this project, due to limitations from like SAS power, and there's not a lot of renewable projects that are kind of approved to go up right now this past year. So we're trying to get into one of those, but in the meantime, and I think like this is something really cool that like any community can jump on at any point, is an energy efficiency. So essentially it's energy conservation. So it's just like understanding where you're spending a lot of your energy in your community and figuring out ways to conserve, to save that energy. And that's everything from like changing light bulbs to more energy efficient light bulbs, LED light bulbs, changing the insulation in your home, changing your windows, your doors, all of that kind of stuff. And so this is kind of like a community-wide thing. So first we'll start with like education on just what exactly it is, because it is kind of a hard concept to grasp. So
explain it to us in layman's terms.
Okay. So there's a really cool like little quote that people in the energy world use, and initially I was like, I didn't get it, but it makes so much sense now. It's really cool, and you can start using it, and it's lots of fun. So everyone wants to do like renewable projects, right? Because they're super cool, and like you see solar panels, and it's like, oh shit, that's cool, that's sexy, right? But the main goal is you're saving money and you're reducing the amounts of greenhouse gases, right? All of the bad stuff that depletes our ozone layer, right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
And with energy efficiency projects, what you do is like this is how much energy you're using. And by making these small changes in how you operate, so if you're turning your lights off every day, if you're maybe using cold water instead of hot water to wash your clothes, all these like little tiny things will all add up to your overall consumption. And if you're smart about it, and if you make certain changes, your consumption goes down, right? So that's you being energy efficient. And you can get like appliances and all this kind of stuff to also be a part of that. Anyways, the little slogan, the quote goes, oh my God.
You forgot it now.
After all that, no, a kilowatt saved is cheaper than a kilowatt generated.
So, a kilowatt saved is cheaper than a kilowatt generated.
Yes. So what that means is when you think about energy efficiency and you think about renewable projects, when you're doing a renewable project, you're generating energy, right? You're taking energy from the sun or the wind or water, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you're creating that energy source. But with energy conservation, what you use already, you're just reducing the amount. So you're actually saving money because you're not
creating new energy.
Yeah, but you're not paying for like a huge $1 million project, which is renewable projects, right? Yeah. So it's something that people can do now, and like hopefully I think the end goal for most communities should be to like move towards renewables. But this is something that people can do now, like individuals can do, schools.
Like what? Like tell us what, when you say individuals, like what can we do then? Give us examples.
You can change the light bulbs in your home. You can
to what?
From, I don't know, the shitty light bulbs that you're using now to some energy efficient ones.
All right. So usually you want to change, because I used to be an electrician, eh? You want to change them from halogen to LED.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know they were called halogen. I just knew the one.
Oh, there you go.
So here's
the halogen.
Yeah.
It's a halogen to an LED.
LED. Yeah.
An LED. So from a halogen you're using, so it goes like, usually you're using, so 100-watt light bulb, right? From a halogen is a lot of energy for one little light bulb. So you take that LED, which is the equivalent of the 100 watts, but it only burns at usually at 16 watts. So you're already losing 84 watts less energy.
Mm-hmm.
And those light bulbs last for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
30 to 50 years, they say.
Mm-hmm.
So there you can add that into your
my little toolkit, so I can sound
into your When you take a halogen and then you remove it and you put in an LED. Do you want to know what LED stands for?
Okay, I'll do it.
I don't even know what LED stands for. I do, but I just forget. So anyway, there you go. Shitty light bulbs to good light bulbs.
But yeah, it's everything from like appliances to your home, right? So if somebody came in and did an energy audit, which is how they determine how efficient your home is, how good it is at saving energy.
Yeah.
So what they do is they put like this big latex plastic over your door with a fan on it, and it sucks out the air. And then it shows you all of the weak spots in your home. So then they'll go around with like kind of heat radar. Yeah. And then you can see different parts of your home. So if it's like your windows are crap, or there's like areas in your home where maybe there's like a hole in your insulation or a break in the wall or something, then the heat radar will detect that. And then the energy audit the auditor will create a report. Yeah. And then they'll say, okay, so this person needs to change this window, needs to like fix my wife's cousin, bro. So then they'll change like the insulation, right? So whatever the energy auditor says, they'll come in, make those changes, and then it said that you can save upwards of like 30% on your energy bill, just an individual, right? So imagine if a whole community did that. Like I know just in my community alone, like the energy bill for, say, the school, like our school and our hospital, it's like an integrated facility. The energy bill alone for that is like through the roof, right? So imagine if every community just started doing their own energy efficiency project. Like that would be thousands upon thousands of dollars that could go towards like social programming or mental health or other things.
Well, that's why I was pushing hard, and we just recently did it. It's changed probably 80% of our school lights to LED, like the gym lights, the hallway lights, and it costs a little pretty money. It cost a pretty penny, but it's long term where you're literally saving money in like the 5 years, because we had to keep replacing the bulbs and then the ballast there, and it's better off with just changing everything to LED. And yeah, you're right. You're literally, your energy bill through lights alone come down to 80%. That's huge in a bill. So if you're changing anything to LED, and then also my buddy, he bought a Quonset, or round Quonset, and he turned it into a home. But he's hardcore into solar panels, and his whole home is heated by thermal energy. Literally, his bill, I think, is like per month for heating and lighting and solar power.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I think it's like $20.
Wow.
It's just insane, man. But he spent money to do it. But I mean, it's worth it in the long run, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I get where you're going. I feel all that, man. Like it's, and then especially in today's time, like where everyone's really realizing what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? And just how reliant we are on, Sask Power, Sask Energy, where if the governments, and then they should, even though they're kind of betting against themselves, but they should start developing where it's affordable for, like me and you or whoever else, like people from the communities, to actually have these, solar panels on their houses and thermal energy, right?
Yeah. There's actually, and not to out our province, but we don't rate very high nationally. Like there's a report card for Canada that just came out. Pembina Institute, I believe, or Efficiency Canada. If you go to efficiencycanada.ca, there's you can find all of the like little tips and tricks and like how to save energy. But they have a report card, and it shows every province where they score. And we are kind of, I think we're not at the bottom, but we're just above it. So we're not doing good in terms of, and how they score that is like what programs are available, are, all of the initiatives in our province that are available to like homeowners or businesses and whatnot.
Yeah. Huh. So let's take it back.
To strive for.
Let's take it back. I want to find out how you got to where you are, right? So I'd like to find out to everybody, how did you get to where you are? So let's take it back. You said you're from Black Lake, but you only visit there once in a while, because Black Lake's a flying community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because my buddy used to be a cop there, and yeah, you hear some wild stories about Black Lake. Yeah, I don't know. So you were born there or no?
Our family, I was not born there. No, my whole family kind of grew up in Isle of Cross, but it's one of those like not really like sure our family ties, how that all works, but
yeah, you just know you're from there.
Trying to figure that out. Yeah. Talked to a few people about it, and they're like, "Oh, that's the family you're related to. You're my cousin." And I'm like,
like, how is that how you say your last? I thought it was, every time someone said a Burnouf, I thought it was OFF, like Burnouf.
Oh yeah, no, Burnouf. Spelled kind of like burnout, but with an F.
Burnout with an F. Yeah.
Jordyn Burnouf. Yeah.
So you grew up in all across, play sports, all that stuff, or like is that where you were right from now? From
yeah, I grew up in Isle of across. I graduated here. After graduation, 2 days after, I started university at the U of S.
Yeah.
And then I was there for probably 3 years, and I decided to take a little break. And
What were you taking? What were you taking?
I was just taking arts and sciences. I was initially I was super interested in biology, and I wanted to become a doctor. And coming out of high school, I had like a 90 plus average, and I was just like a little keener.
You were just feeling deadly when you walked in?
Yeah. I was like, hey, I'm here. I'm the bush.
So you took 3 years of arts and science.
Yeah. And then I took a little break from that, and I went to Vancouver, and I studied fashion merchandising for a little while, kind of the business aspect of it.
So were you interested more in the business side of the business world, or were you just interested in fashion?
I was interested in fashion, but I was interested in the business side of it. Like, my dream was to maybe design a little and create a company where, I could create sustainable fashion. Bush fashion was always my what if I could create like a Patagonia-esque company by like a legit bush woman?
Did you ever create anything like that? Did you ever create a design of anything?
Nope.
It was just I thought you were gonna come at me with, I created this awesome design, and
no.
Like, no. So you went to Vancouver.
Yeah, I tried that. Decided it was not for me. And
so you were there for a year or 6 months or what?
I was there for pretty close to a year. I think it was like 11 months or something, just under a year. And then I got lonely, and it was oh man, it was so expensive. I was a broke ass.
Vancouver?
Oh yeah.
Were you on the island or Vancouver itself?
Vancouver itself.
Oh, Vancouver and Vancouver Island is so beautiful.
Yeah, Vancouver Island.
I love that place. Yeah, but I don't blame you for coming back, because it is pretty expensive.
Yeah. So I came back and went back to school and worked a little bit. And then I got a job in Isle of Cross for a while, and I was working with the health region. I think I did that for 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And I was a consultant for people with cognitive disabilities. And
so you hold on here. So you went, I was talking to this Nick Crichton. You probably know him, right?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's the director of Indigenous Chamber of Commerce. Okay. Anyway, kind of like you sound like what he did. Like, he went to school, and all of a sudden he went to school for kinesiology, and all of a sudden he was working at a group home, and then he went into INAC, and it was just like had nothing to do with whatever he was going to school with it. And all of a sudden you're taking arts and science, and all of a sudden you're into fashion and design, and now you come back, and all of a sudden you're working in the health district. It's like jumping all over the place.
I told you.
Which is good, though. That's good, man. I tell everyone, like, man, diversify yourself, man. Do what you got to do, man. Just feel it all out, right?
Well, I initially started with biology, which I loved sciences, maths and sciences.
Yeah.
But then I learned about psychology, and I just fell in love with psych.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I switched my major to psych, and then that's kind of how I got involved with the cognitive disability job there. That was really cool. It was like...
And you were there for 3 years?
I think 2 years.
2 years. So tell me about that then, it was interesting.
Whew. It was, I worked in 14 communities. So here's a little poke at our provincial system and our huge need for mental health and disability.
The
need for resources for people. Like, I was the only person at the time. It wasn't like all one health region, right? It was we had the Keewatin health region.
What?
Keewatin.
Oh yeah, okay.
That means north, north.
North by north.
Kiitin means north in Cree, and Yate, I think, means north in Dene. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, it's Cree and Dene.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was our health region. And so, yeah, I traveled to all of the communities in there. And I met with clients and just I was kind of the middleman between whatever resource they needed. So if they needed, like, let's say they had mobility issues or whatever it was, I would connect them to the resource. And yeah, we would meet probably every month, let's say, because I had a caseload of maybe 100 people, but I could not get to nearly even a quarter of them, and so
every year. Or what do you mean, like you couldn't get to a quarter of them?
Well, if you think about what the job is, right, you should be meeting with people at least every 2 weeks, I think. Anyways, is like so huge, man. I would like leave after meeting with some of my clients and just feel like so depleted. Like, they were already dealt a pretty tough card, and then like me coming in doing what I can, but it's not even near enough. That was just like really hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a social work. Well, I'm a social worker, and man, I used to house the homeless in Calgary, and they say working with adults is twice as hard it is as working with kids, because you're trying to deal with an adult situations, but they're acting like kids sometimes. But I mean, at the same time, you got to remember their background and all their, what they've come through. And yeah, even meeting with one client drained you. And then you go through a repetitive course to the next client, and you're just like day after day. And that's why it's such a high turnover rate in the social work field, man, because you're just like by year 5, man, if you're, it's a tough one, man. I commend all social workers out there, beginners and right to the people that have been there forever, man. Like, it's a tough one.
Seriously. And so I was one of, I think, 12 in the province, Cogdis consultants.
Yeah.
And like most of them, I think except for one, were all women. And it was like, oh man, when you're just like surrounded by people with just like that real like deadly energy, they just make you feel like just good, like, because they're just so good. That's what these women were. Honestly, it was like
you walk into the room and this is what you feel.
I think you're deadly, and I like watching you be deadly.
So keep being deadly. Exactly. Honestly, it was like I was just mind blown, because I just felt like so overwhelmed with the work I was doing. And I was like, man, these women are just like kicking ass, and they've been doing it for like 10 plus years, most of them, It's just like, it's a passion driven job.
You have to be passionate with it. It's like, man, because I did it, like I said, I've been in for probably 20 years now.
Yeah.
And but I took a break for 5 years and did electrical work. But I mean, it's you have to have that passion. You have to have that love to, just knowing where these people are from and where they're, why they are where they're at.
Yeah.
And, you always want the best for them, But I mean, it's like you're saying, like, what did you have? 100 and what was your caseload?
I had like 50 active cases, somewhere upwards of that, and then like kind of 50 in the queue that even, because you need to have, a lot of them need to have assessments done. Yeah. And for most people anywhere in the province, it was like a 1.5 year wait just to have an assessment done.
Yeah. I mean, even just one person, 50 in, 50 active, and then, it's still a lot. And yeah, you're right. Like mental health right now, mental health is such a huge game changer. You got anxiety, and just this social media has upped it, but I mean, at the same time, it's going to help us, I think. But yeah, go ahead. I can talk all day about social work and everything and mental health. It's just like, yeah, I feel you. Like, I know where it's at. And
And yeah, so I just, I don't know. I got to a point where I was like going home from work every day crying because I just felt like crap. Like I just wasn't doing my job, and people around me were like, you're gonna have to get used to like feeling like there's just all never ending, like, right? It's just the job is just never ending.
Well, what did you do to like? Did somebody tell you how to? Did you ever get that saying to shut it off at 5 or shut it off after work?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I mean, I think a lot of people have been in a game so long, you just learn to, because you just become what's the word? Dehumanized almost.
Yeah.
The situation, like. I understand why cops are the way they are sometimes and paramedics, because can you imagine seeing what a paramedic's got to see all the time?
Oh.
You know what I mean? And like, so you also sometimes you see people on social media complaining about it, but it's like, you really got to think about their position and how much shit they see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like,
I can't imagine.
Yeah. But anyway, it's back to the social work thing. It's like, and here's one thing. If you save one person, your whole career is worth it.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught. You save one person in 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, your whole career is worth it. And it's true.
Definitely.
It's true. It's all you need to do. Yeah.
So yeah, I commend people that work in that area. Seriously, it's a tough job and it's an important job. So after that, I was like, I needed a change. Like I just mentally, I wasn't doing good.
Mm-hmm.
So just by chance, I kind of stumbled upon a job in L'Orange, at a college. So at Northlands College. And I applied for what was it, student recruitment, so in the marketing department. And I was like,
and there you go, bouncing around again, right from the health field now you're going into student recruitment.
Yeah,
that's deadly though. That's deadly.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you're bubbly, you can talk, let's put you on a friggin' poster and send you around the north. So
yeah,
sweet.
That's good.
So I was like, okay, I can still help people, and this way I can work with young people, and it's kind of on the other side. But yeah, so I did that for a few years, and then just needed a change. So that was cool. So what happened there is I worked as the recruitment person, and during that time, I kind of became bros with Jordyn Goulet. Do you know Jordyn? That's my boy.
Jordyn or Dean?
Jordyn.
Jordyn Goulet.
Yeah. OG.
No. OG. No, I don't know who Jordyn is.
Jordyn, yeah. Do you know T-Rhyme, Tara Campbell?
Yeah, I know her.
That's her dad.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He's super
yeah, she's Dene, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
okay.
So I worked with him and another man named Paul Ballantyne, and we kind of came together because we wanted to do more cultural stuff at the college. There wasn't really a whole lot going on, and I don't know if you're like familiar with the North, but
not really. I'm more of a Plains Cree dude in the middle center. I'm not the only thing I know about it is when we used to go back in the day with cops and when I worked at White Buffalo, when we go up north to Nastoyak Falls and Stanley Mission.
Oh, okay.
And then I have friends who went to school with, and they're from Deschambault, and literally their backyard is the lake, and they take us all over up north. Yeah, that's my northern. And I used to play hockey up north. I go play there, but that's about it.
Cool. Yeah, Deschambault's that drive is just beautiful. Hey, it's cool.
Oh, it's
in the mountains, minus the mountains.
yeah. No, it's beautiful. Yeah.
No, I think one of the things that I find that's super different. And I noticed this when after high school, going to the college and meeting people from like, say, that grew up in Saskatoon or like around Saskatoon.
Yeah.
We're like, grew up at powwows and like went to ceremony and all of this stuff. In the North, people like hardcore speak their language up to a certain point, right? Up to a certain generation, like in a few Dene communities and like Pine House, people my age and some people younger still speak their language.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of language up north, but like our like culture is like hunting, fishing, being out on the land kind of thing. But very few people that I knew of anyways growing up, this might be a totally different thing for other people. But for me, like I never experienced ceremony, never went to a powwow. The first time I went to a sweat, I think I was like 23 or something.
Is that how it is up north? Because you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of noticed that. I noticed that Northerners weren't really, and this is my view. I don't like you're right. I could be wrong. They weren't really. It's more or less you guys literally lived the life, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like that's your life is in the bush all the time, and I don't know. I don't know. I never really seen much Northerners, dance powwow or post videos or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we like literally don't have a lot of that. Like I know now there's MLTC, like there's a powwow that happens in like
Flying Dust.
Flying Dust has one. Okay.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
There's a few, but like Meadow Lake, I don't know. That's not that far north, right?
You guys jig. That's what you do.
That's yeah.
Or no? Is that just the thing?
Yeah, like Métis communities around here jig. There's a lot of First Nations communities around here too.
Yeah, I always see them jigging and everything. I think that's what I thought was like the big thing up there is jigging.
But man, so to my point, to my story, so we were like, okay, how do we kind of talk about culture more? So we started what was called the Culture Council for like lack of creativity in our little but then we started doing little things here and there. Like we planned a kind of like a powwow demo for all of our staff at our Christmas event. And then after that, everybody was like, okay, we need to see more of this. Like most people that saw like had never seen powwow dancing before, and they were just like
up north.
Yeah, this was in La Ronge.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man, it was crazy. And then
how long ago was this? Shit, must have been only like a few years. How many?
3.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I hit up Patrick Mitsuing and I was like, "Okay, bro, come down here. Can you like get your crew together? Let's like figure something out." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll bring the people. Like you plan it, whatever."
Yeah.
Did that. Initially it was like, okay, he came to our staff event, and then we asked drummers from Stanley Mission, because there's a drum group from Stanley Mission, and that's another thing. Like there's not a whole lot of like drum groups either.
Yeah.
There's a few, and they're awesome, and they're like everywhere now. And so we did the staff thing, and then we did a summer powwow, like a spring. Yeah, it was like a graduation. Like, you know how the U of S has their grad powwow?
Yeah.
We wanted to do something similar to honor students at the end of the year. So we planned a 1-day powwow, and we had it on like the old residential school lot. There was a residential school and then a hospital, and I think both had burnt down. And then it just became like the like urban reserve kind of thing for Lac La Ronge. And so we approached the chief and said, "Hey, can we do this event here? It's kind of in the center of La Ronge." And so we were like, okay, this is going to be an awesome way to bring together like non-Indigenous and the Indigenous community, because if you know La Ronge, it's like there's the one main community, but then there's like I think 5 First Nations around there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we invited the elders. So the elders home came in their little van, and then tons of people came throughout the day. We had it from like, I think like 11 a.m. to like 3. It was so cool. Everyone came and had some hot dogs and burgers. We must have had like 600 people, I think, throughout the day come through.
Oh, that's a 1-day demonstration of a powwow up north? Or you
Yeah,
actually legit had a powwow?
it was like a powwow demo, let's say, because it wasn't like a full weekend thing. And
That's still crazy, man. A demo powwow for the Northerners. That's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to believe.
it was really cool. I had like this like old mushum.
Yeah.
He was like, I was like, "Are you having a good time?" Whatever. And he was like, "You know, I've never seen this in my life." I was just like, "Oh,
Wow.
don't cry." That was
That's
like,
awesome. No, that's awesome. I think I seen Pat's some of his videos. Like, was he with 3 dancers?
there was a group. Kara Arkand was there, and Cal
Okay.
and his
Oh,
daughter.
this is not. Yeah. No, this is not the one then.
There was a
I
big
seen
group that we had, and we did this multiple years. So after that year, everybody was like, "Yeah, let's do it again." That was amazing. So we did it again the second year, and then yeah, there was just like a bunch of other things that kind of came from it. Patrick and his partner Marissa,
Yeah.
they both came up, and then Marissa did a session with all like a group of women and taught them how to make regalia.
Yeah. Wow.
Pat did a session like teaching dance.
They're like a power couple. Them too.
Yeah, it's sweet. And then all their kids came too. And then there's a music festival that happens in Larange as well, and they performed there. And yeah, it was cool. So I did kind of the cultural component planning for that music festival. It's called Nap Attack Ramble, and we had dancers and drummers come in. The New Dawn Drum Group. They're young girls.
The New Dawn Drum Group, eh?
New Dawn Drum Group. Search them up, people.
New Dawn Drum Group.
Yeah, they're all sisters, and they're ever deadly.
So after that, what? After you created this yearly powwow, that's probably still going on today? You don't know.
Well, maybe it would have happened this spring, but
Yeah, with the corona.
Nothing's happened. The Rona.
So, yeah, Rona. So I noticed on your Instagram, like you travel literally everywhere. It seems. Does that have anything to do with work, or you just traveled?
It's outside of work, so I can kind of lead into that now if you want.
Yeah.
I left.
Weren't you? Didn't you? Yeah, you traveled to across the world for work one time, didn't you? Weren't you on some kind of
a conference? So I was a part of an Indigenous delegation.
Yeah.
So through a company called Student Energy. So they kind of create opportunities and awareness education for students and young people.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be a student. But yeah, I attended 7Gen in 2019, and it was incredible. What it was there was like a series of speakers, presenters from all across.
Can I show your Instagram right now, or?
Yeah.
All right. And you can kind of just tell them where it is. Go on, keep going.
So there's my dog, Otis. She's a little demon.
Do I gotta go way down here? Is this something to do with it, or?
There you go. Oh.
Which one? Right here? Was this the powwow on your?
No, go down. Down.
Way down?
Way down. This is awkward. You want to see the powwow? What do you want to see?
No, I want to see when you were traveling in Europe there with your job.
Okay, go off then.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
Sorry, you're like, is that the powwow? You'll see people on a stage right there.
This one or this one?
That's my cookum. This is a photo of a group. So that's Indigenous Clean Energy. I was a part of their clean energy leadership program called the 2020 Catalyst program.
Yeah.
So that was last summer. So how I got involved with that was I attended 7Gen, which was an Indigenous clean energy conference.
Yep.
And at 7Gen, they have you have an opportunity to kind of pitch your idea. So what is your idea? So my friend Nathan Kay and I, we were pulled into a meeting with a bunch of like renewable, non-renewable, all these different companies, and they wanted to hear from Indigenous youth, just on like education barriers, employment barriers in the energy sector.
Yeah.
And there was only 5 of us. I was the only woman in there. So that's Nathan in the pink shirt.
Oh, this guy here?
Yeah. And then the girl next to him is Jukipa, and she's from Iqaluit. And then the other girl, she was from somewhere in Europe. But yeah, we had a whole crew. So I pitched. So same thing at 7Gen in this. The one was in Calgary. That one was in London, in the UK.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they do at their events, so that was Student Energy Summit. That was the international summit. The one I went to was Indigenous. And this was amazing. So they give you an opportunity, the innovation jam, it's called. So you pitch your idea.
Yeah.
So Nathan and I were part of this group with all these industry people asking questions, engaging with Indigenous youth, right? And then we were like, that evening, we were talking later and we were like, okay, so now what happens? Like, does that conversation just end? Like, what happens? They get to like go and check the box with their company and say they've engaged with Indigenous youth.
Which surprisingly does happen.
It happens
like that,
all the time.
That's the engagement. Like that's the engagement. Some companies say, "Oh, I talk to people." Well, what
and
did
it
you
was
do?
literally like an hour, and so we're like, "Okay, this can't happen."
Yeah.
But on the bright side, I will say one of the people that kind of pulled that group together was from Anarcan. And after that point, she did follow up and she took a lot of our input and actually created a lot of change within her organization. And like, she was amazing. So there was some good that came out of it. But yeah, we did leave kind of feeling like, well, that was like misrepresentation. 1, I was the only woman in there. 2, there was only like 5 of us from across Canada and most of us were from the West. So it wasn't really like a good representation of Indigenous youth from Canada. You know, it was a little, some voices for sure. And so out of that, so I pitched an idea for an Indigenous Youth Advisory Council, kind of working in the clean energy industry and helping companies figure out ways to reduce barriers for education and employment for Indigenous youth. Right. So that was the big idea. And then after that, I was approached by the director of that program that you clicked the group photo there.
Oh, yeah.
So the Catalyst program, and I went to that for the summer. And then the London thing was also a follow-up of the student. This is a lot. I can make you a little map if you want.
Of what?
I'm just joking. So then the Catalyst program in the summer, and then the photos that you saw with like the group of us on stage, that was in London. And same thing, they had an opportunity for like an innovation jam. And Nathan and I, we pitched an idea for a global Indigenous council. So the photo you see down the other way. Oh,
this one?
Back, another one back. So that's the Catalyst fam. Other way. Can I click?
No.
That
so
was
this is
6 Nations. No, the one
Okay.
on stage down here, kind of to the left of my cookum.
This one?
That one there. There you go. Next one.
This one?
Yeah. No, not that one. You're going backwards.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Sorry. No, that's where it stops.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Let's see
yeah,
what
so I went to London for Student Energy Summit, and it's really cool. Like, it's not just limited to like people that are kind of studying or working in the energy industry. Like, if you actually want to learn more and have an interest in that field, like whether it's environment or energy or engineering, whatever it might be, like you can apply to attend. Like and they make it so if maybe you can't afford it or whatever, like they'll pay for flights, they'll get you there. And it's
And
just
who's that? Clean Energy?
Student Energy. Yeah. So they're a global organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, I kind of stayed pretty close. Like it's a global company, right? But they're a small crew of people, really young people, and they work out of Vancouver for the most part.
Mhm.
And then they
Yeah.
have chapters all around the world.
Mhm.
And those chapters just like exist at universities, and then they do
Oh, okay.
different energy projects in their university. But yeah, they do a bunch of cool things. And so I stayed in touch, and I really wanted to do something similar in Saskatchewan, just because we have such a huge need. There's not a lot of people that are really young people that are doing a whole lot in the energy world.
Mhm.
And so I reached out to Meredith Adler, who is the executive director at Student Energy. She's incredible. Like, this woman is a powerhouse, I swear. And
Meredith Adler.
Meredith Adler, she's unreal. She is like my mentor right now. She's guiding our group. So the group that went to London, there was I think there was 17 of us in the Indigenous delegation that went. So the first ever that attended the International Summit.
Yeah.
And that was kind of spearheaded by Corey Beaver and Disa. So Corey and Disa started a energy summit, a clean energy summit for Indigenous youth called 7Gen. And then, yeah, so this year we're doing 7Gen again. And I spoke to Meredith. I wanted to do something in Saskatchewan. And the chapter in Calgary led the first 7Gen. And then they were going to take a little break, but there was so much interest in 7Gen, and a lot of people really wanted to see it continue. So Meredith and I kind of got to talking, and we were like, "Okay, let's see it happen. Let's do it again. Let's pull together a group of people and let's see it happen." So this week, actually on Monday, we just had our first meeting with our entire planning committee. So that's like students and just youth from all across Canada.
Yeah.
We have people from like the far north. Like when we're in Saskatchewan, La Crosse is far north, but
Yeah.
these are like legit OG far north.
Like right to the border, almost a Nunavut kind of thing, far north.
Yeah, in Nunavut. So we have one girl from Nunavut. The girl in the photo I told you that was from Iqaluit. That's Jukipa. She's on our committee. We have someone else from the territories. We have people from all over Canada. And so, yeah, we just met for the first time this week. It was really, really exciting. And so we're planning the next the Indigenous Student Energy Summit called 7Gen.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
That's awesome. That's pretty deadly.
It's going to be sweet. I'm so excited. And so, so the Catalyst program that I told you I attended last summer,
Mhm.
That's through a company called Indigenous Clean Energy. They're legit. Like, if you have like a way to like post links attached to this, I'd say like get people in the know about Indigenous Clean Energy and student energy. Indigenous Clean Energy is actually hiring summer students right now, remote work.
Really? You should tell them about IOPPS. Tell them to
Oh,
post the jobs there.
there you go. Hell
What are
yeah.
they? Indigenous Clean Energy?
Indigenous Clean Energy. So they're, as well,
What's the
they're
website?
global. Yeah. Indigenous Clean Energy docs. So yeah.
So they're that's where you're going to work, or that's who you're going to work with?
Yeah. So student energy and Indigenous Clean Energy are partnering. So we are going to work together and do 7 Gen this year. So
And what's your goal besides clean energy?
so what's our goal for kind of this collaboration?
Yeah.
Well, I took the program, and I'm also on their advisory council, so Indigenous Clean Energy Advisory Council.
Yeah.
And kind of one of the things that I do a little bit of public speaking, and whenever I get a chance to have a mic, I usually talk a lot about like engaging Indigenous youth. And so kind of, I guess my role is the youth portion, I guess, in the advisory council. Like we talk about all sorts of stuff, but I guess where my main focus is figuring out ways to get more young people involved with Indigenous clean energy. And so, yeah, this was just one of those ways, was to work together with student energy and their program director, Erin Stewart. She's awesome. She's award-winning energy guru, young woman. And so we got to talking, and I told her I was co-chair of 7 Gen this year, and she was like, "Sweet, why don't we work together on some stuff?" So then we came up with the genius plan to kind of do them one after the other. So Indigenous Clean Energy, they have a summit that happens, or a gathering that happens every year. And so I attended that last year, and I spoke a little bit about some of the work that I'm doing. And yeah, this coming up year, it'll happen, hopefully. That's kind of still, like everything else in the world.
You want to hope, but I can pretty much say it's not. But you can always hope. Summer's pretty much canceled already, so yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble. I'm just saying.
Water there. There's still water and there's still dirt. We can go play outside.
Yes, that's true. We can.
That?
Yeah, that's
Did you
true.
hear that one? Watch your board. Go play outside then.
Yeah. No. Hey man, when I was young, that's all we got told is like get up at 9, get your ass outside, don't come in to eat, and then after you eat, get outside again and don't come in till it's dark.
Get out.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Where was I?
You were collaborating with this day was coming up, but you don't know if it's gonna happen because of the
it's supposed to happen kind of the end of October, but chances are pretty good we're probably gonna have to postpone it. But it's pretty sweet. We've got a lot of support, we've got a lot of funding so far, but we're we're looking for more right now. And so how it'll happen is Indigenous Clean Energy has their gathering, and it's 2 days of like 200 people coming together talking about clean energy projects, Indigenous clean energy projects. And then there's an opportunity for collabs where people learn. Like one of the collabs was like excuse me, was working with Indigenous youth, or like what are some of them? Indigenous Works. They're out of Saskatoon.
Yeah, no, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a collab all sorts of different groups having collabs, and it's just like how to do what in the energy industry with Indigenous people, you know? And so,
Oh, that's good, man. Like that's such a great initiative, you know, to include Indigenous people, especially the youth, in, you know, for energy and like creating new ideas, concepts, anything, right? Planting that seed to something awesome.
hell yeah. And it's like, it's super empowering for Indigenous people, but also on the other side, it's like, it's a lot of like accountability and like a little bit of pushback to industry to say, like, look, you have no excuse now. This is how you work with us. You have questions, let us answer them. Like, literally, you can sit here and learn. Like, we have people, we have projects. Like, so it's really cool. So then after those 2 days happen, of that summit, of the gathering, sorry, that's when the Student Energy 7 Gen Summit will happen. And then, so that's 200 youth from across Canada. And what we do is like, we have been like knocking on everyone's door for funding, and we pay for every person up to 200 people. And we have applications come in, and then we pick through those people. And then we pay for them to get there. We pay for their food, their accommodations, and yeah, and it's just like a barrier-free way of getting people educated, aware, and like hopefully set up with a project and with like industry partners so they can make things happen.
Oh, you gotta hope the Rona doesn't kill it and it happens. I really hope it happens.
Yeah, well, you know, youth are pretty tech savvy, so either way, we'll find ways to connect, and if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen later.
You guys will TikTok through the whole thing. Great TikTok dance of I don't know, the energy section. I don't know. No? You're like, oh my God.
No TikTok. Just kidding. TikTok. Oh man, I got TikTok recently.
I don't want to get into TikTok. I literally scrolled through it last night. I was laying in bed for like 2 hours almost. I'm like, holy shit.
I know, hey, and you're like, damn, that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, we're actually going to be using TikTok to get a hold of our kids and we're going to create like a competition.
Yeah.
TikTok to me, like right now. So let's go back to your message, right? Like your whole thing is getting youth and whoever you want to raise that awareness for energy, right?
Yeah.
Clean energy awareness. TikTok right now, and I'll tell you right now, is the perfect place for you to do it. Because then you can do those little things that would be like, you know, dirty energy you can put down here. You know how to do it. You know how to do clean energy. You can be like change your LED to your LED lights, or you know those ones there where they're pointing at stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can do the dance, and you're like, I don't know, I don't know. There's a new one right now that goes like this, and I don't know.
Can you post a demo just to show me how to do it?
I will. You guys are gonna hear it now. I'm gonna post it for Jordyn. I'm gonna do it. Call it the Clean Energy Dance, sponsored by IOPPS, and I'm gonna.
We're gonna wait for it. Nathan's TikTok.
I did do a TikTok. I did do a dance though. I just did like pictures and yeah. But I want to start doing TikTok, man. It looks like a lot of work though, just to post one video.
Do you hear my dog?
A little bit.
I think she's got the Rona. No, I think she found some fish.
Really? Oh, if you guys don't know, Miss Burnouf here is way up north in the bush right now, so it looks like a scary cabin in the back there.
Because it is a scary cabin.
Yeah. But yeah, no, TikTok, man, that's a big one. I would definitely get on TikTok. Wow, you're already on it. You said you just downloaded it a couple weeks ago?
I downloaded it. So another thing that I'm working on is our community created like a regional like a incident command center.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like all of the mayors in the 24 communities in the northwest region of Saskatchewan. And they meet every day and talk about like what the like safety measures communities are taking, and kind of like where things are at in terms of like COVID.
Yeah.
And so one of the main guys that's kind of leading that reached out to me and asked if I would do the help with the social media piece. I think he saw my my wood chopping video and was like, "Yes, girls."
Oh, didn't you put that on the gram?
Yeah, I had that on the gram.
That would have been, that would have been actually a funny TikTok, man. If you can really get down at editing stuff, like there's people actually that go try find those people that have like 1 million followers.
Yeah.
They show you what the big thing is now is to show you how they did that real cool TikTok.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so I mean, you can learn, right? It's like pretty badass how to do it, and like I said, going back now, you can do your clean energy stuff like that. Like, there's so much stuff you can do with TikTok.
Yeah,
I push TikTok right now, and I'm literally trying to learn it because, like I want to promote Indigenous jobs, right? So I mean, that would be the perfect place to go and do a TikTok is, promote a job that was posted, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. Do it.
Okay, I'll get on the TikTok. So yeah, I'm doing this social media thing now for.
See, there's another job title to the Jordyn Burnouf resume.
Contract based, and then I work regularly with MR, so with Derek Rope's company, Medicine Rope Strategies. Yeah, so a lot of the work that we did there, though, was like community engagement, and yeah, so that it's all still going on, right? Like there's the technological world is kind of where we've shifted over to that, but
yeah, the tech is where we're at right now. It's the big player, and I want you to learn. I've been posting and talking a lot about. I don't know, a big discussion. Like I do another podcast on my own Facebook for fun. I call it Live After Dark. And we started talking about Wi-Fi connection and everywhere. Like where I was complaining how us rural people and you northerners, we all get shitty Wi-Fi. And if we do get it, we're paying out the ass for it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who Elon Musk is?
Yeah.
All right. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Top way.
Okay. Anyway, so he just literally launched his last 60 satellites yesterday, and now he's at 420. And now,
saw that.
Yeah,
420.
Right? Yeah, and then it was 420. Anyway, so now he just put out a statement today, and I've been saying, man, this guy's gonna change. He's already changing the way our world works. Like goes back to the clean energy, Tesla, and all that, right? And now he's literally trying to connect the whole world with Wi-Fi internet, high speed, none of this slow. So you literally anywhere you are in the world except Antarctica, I think you said, you can get high speed internet, and it's like this pizza box thing that you have, and he said that you just plug it in and that's it, and then you're connected. So right now, let's just like he said, in the first 3 months, like it's gonna be beta, and then in the next 6 months, I think we get it in Canada.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like and it goes back to that, I mean, and then you're talking about energy and then how we all can connect. Now all the northerners and everybody and it can be able to connect to high speed internet, so we'll be a lot more, I guess, efficient and
Skynet.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't turn into that. Hopefully there's no zombies and no robots taking over. Don't even talk like that right now. Just how the world we're in right now, eh?
I was just listening to Joe Rogan's podcast with Elon Musk the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Joe Rogan. What are you?
I love
and he's like,
"Are you what?
Are you an alien?" He's like, "Who are you? How do you come up with this shit? And how do you convince people to let you do what you do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just ask them."
Right? Yeah, it's like it's wild, man. And then that's what I want people to do, especially our Indigenous people. Is like just, man, there's so much we can do, and just no one wants to just try it, just do it. They're scared because I can get into a whole lot of conversation, but Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. What I usually do now is let you close with a couple words of inspiration and motivation. And yeah, you ready
Okay.
for that? You good for that? So I want to
Okay.
thank everyone that tuned in. And yeah, Miss Jordyn Burnouf. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to hear about her in the future, if not right away. She's on to bigger and better things. Thank you for tuning in, and I will definitely. I gotta get a saying where, you know, I end it with a good saying, but I don't have a saying yet. Maybe episode 50, I'll have something. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. And here's Miss Burnoff closing up.
I think as this like Mother Earth defender scrolls by, that's awesome. Just some last words of advice. I guess you kind of learned a little bit about what I do. And I guess in relation to that is just we're all kind of cooped up in our homes. Some of us are, maybe like in my case, I'm out at a cabin, so I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful that I have the ability to like actually go outside and be outside a lot. But yeah, take some time, get outside, but like be safe about it. And then just like keep the hope together that like this is just it's gonna blow over soon, but we just need to like kind of control our urge to roam around and kind of be with other people right now, and just kind of take this time to reflect and plan, and yeah, and then just crush whatever goals you have. And like Nathan said, like one of the main things is, even for me, like I'm always coming up with like new ideas and different ways of doing things, and like there's no shortage of like things that I want to do, but it's a matter of like execution, right? So how are you going to get there? How are you going to do that? So I think right now is a really cool time where people have a little bit of free time to kind of plan and really get creative, right? Like look at how much our world has changed in this really short amount of time. And like now we're learning all of these really cool ways to use technology and connect with people like all over the world, really, right? So think really about what it is that you want to do, because nothing is certain, right? Like our world has changed, jobs have changed, the way that we operate as society has changed, and now we're kind of left to adapt. It may or may not go back to the way it was, but yeah, that thing that you just like have always wanted to do, right? Make a plan, figure out a way to do it, and yeah, don't be shy. Do it. But yeah, that's my advice. And I'm always here. If people want to reach out and ask questions, like I'm pretty chatty, and I really like to help. So by all means, if you have questions about any of the things that I've talked about, I'd love to help. What are some of your goals? Is a question. Some of my goals right now, one of the things that is something that I'm trying to work on for myself is like time management and kind of trying to juggle everything that I do. So one of my goals is to figure out kind of what are those things in my life that are going to get me to where I ultimately want to be in the end, which is I want to be living somewhere where I can just go out to my backyard or go for a short drive and be able to like hike for miles and not see people, like I want to live in a place like that. I feel the happiest when I'm surrounded by trees and lakes and oceans. Yeah, that's one of my goals, is to kind of like I said, my advice to you, right? I've got to heed that advice as well. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, is like those small steps to get me there. Yeah, I'm laying out my goals right now, and I think that's like a daily thing people should look at. And yeah, just trying to stay healthy and try stay sane. And yeah, but thank you, Nathan IOPPS, for the lovely conversation. And yeah, give me a shout out. Give me drop me a message if you want to chat and have questions about anything I talked about. But yeah, keep being deadly. Thanks.
Hey,